Well, I came out here with the intention of cutting off the clamp and then splitting the pipe and pulling it off of there, but there ain't no clamp. It's made right on that hunk of pipe. So I would guess this is probably the factory exhaust. So what I'll do is I'll take a sawzall and I'll cut it off as close as I can to there. And if that bracket's in the way, I'll grind that off, and the new muffler can go on and maybe weld that bracket to the clamp. But that's okay. Just a little bit different, I guess. It's not a setback or anything. Just wasn't expecting that. Usually you just, you know, cut the clamp, because you never can get the clamps out, so I don't even bother. Just cut them off. Buy new clamps. They're only a couple bucks a piece. And yeah, that's not the case here, but that's alright. We'll go get the sawzall and try that. Alright guys, well, it's out, and I can see why it was loud. It's past its useful life. It's got a hole in it here started. It's really in rough shape. Baffles all got a hole in it right there. Just past its useful life. Oh, it's definitely original exhaust. That's not bad for a 2000. It's 12 years old. Not bad. Pretty good. You can hear all the stuff in there. The whole insides are just shot. So, out with the old, and we'll move on to putting in the new. Now, there's not much pipe sticking out here, so I might have to take that off. I'll see. See how well the new one fits on there. But alrighty, we got the new muffler under here and the new tailpipe. I've cut the end off at a slant. Looks kind of nice. I've ground the bracket off the old muffler, and I'm gonna see if I can't get the angle right and tack it onto this tailpipe piece. None of these clamps are very tight. They're just on there so that I don't forget to put them on. I'm going to see about, this is actually for a little bit smaller pipe, because the tailpiece on the other muffler was smaller. So I'm going to probably spread this out a little bit and get it lined up so that it'll work on this bracket. It was actually on there this way. And that way the rubber mount will hold the muffler up. So it looks like it's going to be just about the right height. If it's not, I can open up this angle a little bit, which will make it taller. So that's what I'm working on. Looks like it's going to fit under there alright. I ended up not cutting this bracket off. That goes on there far enough that I can get back to where there's decent amount of pipe in there. You know, the pipe comes in about this far, so it should be enough to hold it. And especially once I get this clamp on back here, then there won't be any weight so much on the muffler trying to make it come off of there, so should be alright. Alrighty, I got that welded on there. It actually cracked a little bit here at this weld when I spread that apart, so I tacked that too. And I'm going to hit that with some black paint. I think I got some high temperature black in the house. Probably paint it from about where my hand is out. That way the tip will be painted and everything too, because I cut that off and I don't want that to rust. And I forgot to mention earlier, I have another little welding project. The legs broke off my barbecue. The grill's in pretty rough shape, but I can probably get another season or two out of it if I can get those legs tacked back on. But there's not a lot of metal there, so I don't know how well that's going to work. But since I had the welder out and fired up, I figured I'd try. So I'm going to try to tack those, and I'll get that painted, and then I'll check back with you. Well, it ain't very pretty, so don't look too close. But I managed to fill all the holes that I burned in it. So that should hold up, at least for a little while. Maybe a couple more years. The bottom of this is probably going to rust out, but that's alright. It's been a good grill. I've had it for over 10 years. It stays outside with no cover on it. In the wintertime I put it away, but so yeah, it's not very pretty, but it'll hold. I'm probably gonna hit that with some paint just so that doesn't rust anymore where the weld is. And we've got this painted. It's probably pretty much dry. That high temperature paint dries pretty fast. This is what I used. Not much left, but there should be enough to hit those welds on the grill. And we'll get the tailpipe on and see how the old car sounds. Alright, she's all on, brackets all up, tip is painted, nice and solid. Let's see what she sounds like. I will prop you guys right here and you'll see what it sounds like. Stay away from there, dog. Well, that's much better than she was before. Sounds nice and low there. I like it. Alright. A little bit of condensation coming out. That's one reason that exhaust systems don't last, is short-term driving, short trips, because the system never gets hot, so that moisture doesn't dry out. And then of course the moisture stays right in the pipe and rusts everything out, rusts the muffler out and everything. Alright, set the bottom down, or set the back down, and we'll tear the front apart and put the tie rod end on. I've never done an inner tie rod end, so I don't know. We'll see how it works. I'll always block the tires to keep it from rolling, and use jack stands on sturdy bases. Don't use cinder blocks and stuff, because they'll collapse. You know, if you're just jacking it up, change the tire, it's not so critical, but if you're jacking it up and you're going to be under the car, you should really use jack stands. So, oh, that one come apart. That's okay. I just have these Sears 2 1/4 tons. They look really good on these. Actually, these are the cutouts from the Volkswagen speaker cabinet. Just about the right size. 3/4 plywood. They work real good. Nice and stable. Well, we're making progress on the inner tie rod end change. That's the end of the steering rack where it goes. And can you back up a little bit? You're right in the way, dog. And this is the old one. This is the new one. They're both the same, except the new one's threaded a little bit longer, but that doesn't matter. I watched a video on YouTube because I've never done this before, so I wanted to see what how you're supposed to do it. And they explain how you take the outer tie rod end off, which I've replaced already. This is it's probably a year or so old, but it's in good shape. And you take the boot off. And then you're supposed to have a special tool called a crow's foot wrench. It's got a little C-looking piece in different sizes that fit over this, and then there's a long pipe that I'm guessing is either closed at the end and it's just a long pipe, or it's got a slot where this can come out. But it's a big long tool that engages in that C-shaped thing that's over there. Of course, I don't have one of them, and couldn't get a crescent wrench up in there because it's really crowded up in there. You can barely, this is my hand, so you can see how much room there is. There's not a heck of a lot of room. That's where you're supposed to have the special tool, but I used my Norwegian torque wrench, and she come right loose. You can see there where I engaged the torque wrench and got it to spin right off. Now, the one that the guy had on the YouTube channel came with some Loctite that you're supposed to put on this cap end. This one didn't come with Loctite, and I don't have any, but I really think there should be something on there, so I'm going to probably put maybe a little super glue. I should be close, because I don't think I have any Loctite. I'll have to look. Pretty sure I don't have any Loctite, but I've either got some 3M, some really heavy duty 3M adhesive, that dries hard, or put a little super glue on there, and I'll probably put it back on with a Norwegian torque wrench. Of course, I don't want to hit the socket when I put it on because it'll damage it, you know. But if I can get back to the back part here and just zap it a couple times, she'll be on there good and tight, and that's all that matters. So let me go find some dope for the threads, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alrighty, we got the new tie rod end in there and tightened up. I used a substitute for Loctite. Read online you can use nail polish, so we tried that. But fortunately, I was able to get my wrench in there, my crescent wrench, and get a good swing on it, so I'm confident that it's drawn up tight. I didn't have to use my air hammer, which I was a little hesitant to do that. So it worked out because I was able to, like I said, tighten it with the wrench really good. I got a good tight grip on it and wrenched it right down. And I used calipers to measure the distance where the old nut was. I had marked it with a hacksaw because you have to take that off to get the boot off. But I put the nut back on, and then I measured the distance from here to the end of the shaft and set that nut the same, so that the alignment should be pretty dang close to where it was. I won't have it aligned unless it's terribly off. The tires were wearing good and everything, so yeah, so I guess I will button this up, put the wheel back on, set her down, and maybe take it for a spin, see how it's working. I do want to get underneath it. The tin shield on the catalytic converter's loose. I put a screw in it once. Probably the other side's broke loose now. So I should get under there and fix that while I got the tools and stuff out. And yeah, we'll go from there. Well, I got the bug parked back where it belongs. I haven't really driven enough to see if it's still leaking. I went from there to here. So, oh, I take that back. I actually backed it out to the mailbox to check the mail, and then drove it back to there. But it's not even really enough to get it warmed up. So I don't know if it's still leaking or not, but maybe I'll take it for a drive tomorrow. And of course I had to put that on the Taurus because it came with a muffler, so what the hell, might as well put it on there. It actually sounds pretty good. It's pretty quiet, which is good because I don't really want a big loud muffler on it. But yeah, so I also fixed the tin shield underneath in the central tube where the exhaust pipe goes, right down the center of the car. There's a aluminum shield on the pipe, the resonator in the pipe, just after the catalytic converter, and that was kind of rattling because it had broken loose. And I had fixed it once before, put a screw in the one side, and then the other side broke, and I put a rivet in there. Well, actually the rivet pulled out, and it wasn't really long enough, I guess. So the rivet pulled out, which of course put stress on the screw, and then that broke off. So I put 2 rivets in each side with washers, so that should hold. So yeah, now as soon as the new tires get here, put new tires on it, and she should pass her inspection. They're supposed to be here tomorrow, so if I can get it in tomorrow, or I mean, they're supposed to be here Monday, the tires. So if I can get it in Tuesday sometime, then it'll only be a day late, and it won't be too bad. But we'll see. I guess that's gonna quit for today. It's about 6:30. It's getting a little chilly out. Still, it's almost 50, but I've been out here all day and kind of damp from laying on the ground, and so you can see the grass is quite high right there. Tomorrow I'll get the push mower out and see if I can get that running and mow some of the grass. And it needs it here, and it needs it. The front's not too bad, but that knoll, I planted grass seed over there a couple years ago. That knoll right there, and that's pretty thick. We'll get that mowed. Maybe get this taken care of, and then clean the barn, work on the generator if I got time. So anyway, as usual, thanks for watching, and tune in next time.